F1 Focus Instant Reaction with Huw Griffin.
Race review, Australian Grand Prix, 0700 hours. What does the O stand for? Oh my God, it's early. You know, when I turned on the TV this morning and I saw that it was raining, I thought, probably could have gotten away with an extra 15 minutes in bed here. And so it proved. We did get a delayed start. Poor old Isaac Hadjar. He was clearly distraught after his mistake, putting it in the barriers on the formation lap. His pride was saved somewhat by Jack Doohan doing the exact same thing. And Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz's one was... It looked embarrassing on first viewing. Apparently there was a torque spike based on the upshift. Who knows? But clearly, these cars and this generation with these tyres and these conditions, not easy with the instant torque from the electric motors. It's a recipe for disaster. Out front on the formation laps, hearing Oscar Piastri complain about visibility. He's car number 2 in the queue, but no, visibility very bad. I'm sure that wasn't McLaren trying to get the racing start abandoned and go to a safety car start. I'm sure there was nothing to do with that. But sure enough, after a 15-minute or so delay, we had another start. Phantom torque spikes taking drivers out left, right and centre. It was funny, Martin Brundle was talking, as they were clearing away some of the early crashed cars, talking about maybe they should red flag the race, maybe it wasn't safe. And then 3 laps after we actually got going in racing conditions, everyone was moving on to slicks. But 3 laps in, DRS enabled, yet still, as predicted yesterday in the qualifying review, these days in a wet race, it seems to be processional most of the time. No one can go offline to make an overtake. There's the space. You saw Lewis Hamilton losing out 2 seconds a lap to his teammate, not able to overtake a clearly slower Williams because offline just wasn't an option. There wasn't the space and the size of cars. You can't just dive bomb these days because there's just not enough room on these racetracks. So that was frustrating. Not a lot happened for a lot of this race, but then the rain came at the end and just threw complete chaos. And what were Ferrari doing? They backed themselves to gamble, to stay out on the dries, and it got them up to second and third. It wasn't even first and second at some point. And then, as the rain came down more, they could no longer back the courage of their convictions and they had to pit. Now, could they have lasted on dries? Could they have stuck it out? In hindsight, I don't think so. I think they had to pit for intermediates, and the mistake in the end was not staying out. It was not pitting immediately. And so what could have been a big opportunity was lost, and it ended up in a 8th and 10th in the end. But out front, like I said, I think this was the result that we all expected. Lando from Verstappen. It's just we took the scenic route in getting there, I think it's fair to say. I don't think you can blame Piastri for being more severely punished by going off track when he did. Look, when Lando goes in there, he's done well. To be fair, you have to give him credit to manage the conditions. Both the McLarens are unsighted. Max has got the benefit of he can see the McLarens making the mistake up ahead and he can adjust accordingly. And to be fair, I think Piastri's done a fantastic job of actually getting going again once he was on the grass, putting it into reverse, crawling out of there. And I think it's 2 points salvaged really at the end of the day. But 23 points down to Lando already. It's a long old season. I wouldn't panic yet. And George Russell, as he does, completely forgettable race, yet still ends up on the podium. That's the George Russell way. He says at the end, I was hoping the other 2 would make a mistake and I could get the wins. That's how he gets most of his wins, let's be honest. What else is there to say about this race? Lewis very politely telling his race engineer to shut up, the most polite telling of a race engineer. Stop talking to me, I've heard. Yes, I know that. I'm aware, it's fine. Please don't talk to me right now. And Fernando Alonso crashing out the way he did. Is this the life that Fernando Alonso saw of him? He's been in a death spiral since 2007, let's be honest. He barely beat Lance Stroll in qualifying, and in the end, Lance Stroll brings home a healthy dose of points at the end of this race for Aston Martin. No one would have expected. Nico Hülkenberg, also unexpected points for what we thought was going to be a very uncompetitive kick, Audi, Sauber, Stake, whatever it's called. And the Haas is clearly the slowest car. Welcome points for Alex Albon in the Williams, good performance. Yuki Tsunoda looked class all day long. Yeah, and I think a chaotic enough race on an unrepresentative racetrack, I wouldn't be drawing massive conclusions other than the McLaren is clearly the car to beat. So the question is, can Ferrari make it a contest for the rest of the season? Because I'm not sure Max fighting on his own always can.
F1 Focus Instant Reaction with Huw Griffin.